In 1977, a machine pointed at deep space picked up a signal so strange, one scientist circled it in red and wrote just one word: wow. For 72 seconds, it looked exactly like what we'd been listening for since the beginning of the space program. Then it stopped, and it never came back. This is the wow signal, and nearly 50 years later, nobody has ever explained it. On the night of August 15, 1977, a radio telescope called Big Ear sat in a field outside Delaware, Ohio, sweeping the sky the way it had every night for years. It wasn't glamorous. It was a flat, ground-level reflector roughly the size of 3 football fields, built partly from leftover materials on land borrowed from a nearby university. Its job was simple: listen for one exact frequency, over and over, and wait. That frequency was 1,420 megahertz, the natural radio hum of hydrogen, the most common element in the universe. Scientists had picked it back in 1959, reasoning that any civilization trying to be heard across the stars would broadcast on the one channel every radio astronomer in the galaxy would already be listening to. It was the obvious choice. So Big Ear listened, night after night, for something that never came. Until that night, it did. A signal rose out of the noise, 30 times louder than the background hiss of empty space, sitting almost exactly on that hydrogen frequency, arriving in a smooth, textbook curve, the precise shape a real point source in deep space was supposed to produce. It came from the direction of the constellation Sagittarius, and it lasted for exactly 72 seconds, the full window Big Ear was physically able to observe before the sky rotated past it. Nobody noticed that night. The signal sat quietly on a stack of green and white printouts for days, until a volunteer astronomer named Jerry Eman sat down to review the data. Eman had scanned thousands of pages like this one, mostly ones and twos, the ordinary static of the universe. Then he saw a column that read 6EQUJ5. In Big Ear's code, letters stood for numbers above 9, which meant this wasn't just a spike, it was a wave, rising cleanly from a 6, up through 14, 26, 30, and back down again. A nearly perfect signature of something real, passing through the telescope's fixed beam exactly the way a genuine cosmic source should. Eman picked up a red pen, circled the sequence, and in the margin wrote a single word. That word gave the signal its name. Astronomers moved fast. They pointed telescopes back at that same patch of Sagittarius that same week, then the following month, then for years afterward, using Big Ear itself, and eventually instruments far more sensitive than it had ever been. They found nothing. Not an echo, not a fragment, not a single repeat ever from that spot in the sky. So by this point, we know a real, powerful, and precisely shaped signal came from deep space on one specific frequency, matched almost exactly what scientists had predicted an intelligent transmission would look like, and was picked up by an instrument built specifically to catch it. But one question still didn't make sense. If it was real, why did the universe only let us hear it exactly once? For decades, that question just sat there, unresolved, until 2017, when an astronomer proposed a tidy answer. 2 comets, both unknown in 1977, happened to be passing through that same patch of sky, and comets travel inside their own private clouds of hydrogen gas. If those clouds were transmitting, it would explain the frequency, the location, and the vanishing act all at once. For a moment, it looked like the 50-year mystery might actually be over. Then other scientists checked the numbers. The comets, it turned out, weren't even in the telescope's beam at the right time. And more importantly, nobody has ever actually measured a comet's hydrogen cloud producing a signal anywhere near that strong. The lead scientist at the SETI Institute put it bluntly. The comet theory, in his words, just didn't work. The explanation collapsed almost as fast as it had appeared, and the wow signal went back to being exactly what it had always been: unexplained. Every other candidate has met the same fate. Earthly interference has been ruled out because nothing on Earth broadcasts on that exact protected frequency. A satellite reflection doesn't fit the timing. A telescope malfunction doesn't explain why the signal matched the mathematically predicted shape of a real point source so precisely. Which leaves scientists with a signal that behaved, in every measurable way, like a genuine transmission from somewhere near Sagittarius, and no confirmed source, natural or otherwise, in almost 50 years of trying. Jerry Eman spent the rest of his life being asked the same question, over and over. Was it aliens? He always gave the same careful answer. that a single, non-repeating signal isn't enough evidence to claim contact. He died in 2025, still without an answer. The original printout still exists, the red ink slightly faded, the words still legible. And somewhere in the direction of Sagittarius, whatever produced those 72 seconds, a rare natural event we haven't identified yet, or something else entirely, is still out there, past the reach of the field in Ohio, where one man circled a number in red and had no idea he was about to spend the rest of his life not knowing what it meant. That's the real shape of this mystery. Not a signal we're still waiting to explain, but a signal that told us everything it was ever going to tell us in exactly 72 seconds, and then went silent, on purpose or by accident, forever. One mystery has been uncovered. Countless more remain hidden. Subscribe to Mystery Hidden.